The United States is home to two iconic eagle species, the golden eagle and the bald eagle. Unfortunately, at times, it's not easy to tell these two birds apart. Let's dive in. Let's start with the adults of both species. On the left, we have the bald eagle, and on the right, we have the golden eagle. The differences at this stage are extremely obvious. The bald eagle has a very distinct white head, bright yellow bill, and a white tail, while golden eagles have a brown head and like a golden mane going on in their neck area. They also have a smaller beak than the bald eagle. Golden eagles also have a darker tail. And then a feature that's going to help you out when we get into the juvenile stages of these birds is the feathers on the golden eagle go all the way down to its feet, and the legs of the bald eagle are exposed. You might be thinking, that's super easy, what's the problem here? Well, here's the juvenile bald eagle. This is a first year bald eagle, meaning that the white hasn't come in yet. In fact, bald eagles don't gain that white head and white tail until about year 5. To distinguish the two birds, remember that the golden eagles have the feathers go all the way down to the feet, while the bald eagle has its legs exposed. Between years 2 and 4, bald eagles will actually start to gain a lot of white, but it's going to be mottled all over its body. Golden eagle juveniles also gain a bit of white on their bodies, but it's concentrated in patches on their wings and on their tail, and that's it. If it's anywhere in their chest area, it's a bald eagle. I'm going to ignore the adult bald eagle in flight just because it's so obvious, but here's a juvenile bald eagle in flight and a golden eagle in flight. Most of the time you see golden eagles in the air, they're going to be extremely high up. As a general rule of thumb, bald eagles soar with their wings nearly flat, while golden eagles soar with a dihedral, a little bit of a V shape. Golden eagles have relatively smooth and shallow wing beats, while bald eagles have more choppy, shallow wing beats. Visually, juvenile bald eagles have white on their auxiliaries as well as their coverts. In reality, if you see a juvenile bald eagle flying, there's going to be a ton of white on the bottom. It's not going to be concentrated in one area. Young golden eagles have, again, the white concentrated in patches on their wings on the bottom as well as patches on the top. Now, those patches may or may not be present, but if they are, they're going to be concentrated. And they also have a thick white band on their tail. Juvenile bald eagles also have white on their tails, so that's not really the best indicating factor. It's also important to note that golden eagles in flight seem to have a much more small head and smushed head, while bald eagle's head juts out quite a bit. So if you see an eagle flying and its head looks like it's sticking out and it's got a big honking bill on it, that's a bald eagle. Here's the call of the bald eagle. Now you might be confused because for some of you, this may not be the call that you've heard your entire life in movies. That's just because they used to use the red-tailed hawk call for bald eagle because it sounds a lot more majestic. But in reality, this is the bald eagle call. And here's the call of the golden eagle. Their ranges differ just a little bit. Bald eagles can be found throughout the United States, and they breed mostly in Alaska and Canada. It'll even dip into northern Mexico during the non-breeding season. Golden eagles have a much more interesting range. In fact, they're found on multiple continents, not just the mainland United States. The one differentiating factor between the two is that golden eagles are less likely to be found out east. So if you see an eagle out east, it's most likely a bald eagle, although they will move through the northeast during breeding season. Now there's a couple differences in habitat as well. Bald eagles are typically found near bodies of water, whereas golden eagles are a lot more likely to be found in cliffy and grassland type settings. This shouldn't be the only indicator to distinguish the two birds just because they could show up moving through an area anywhere, but it is nice to know and narrow it down that if there's not any water nearby, it's less likely to be a bald eagle. Golden eagles are much more likely to be perched on cliff ledges. In fact, they'll usually nest on cliff ledges, while bald eagles are much more likely to be seen in the tops of trees. In fact, golden eagles are actually less likely to be perched in trees. I've only seen this happen once or twice while birding before. So if you see an eagle in a tree, you can narrow it down there as well. Like I mentioned before, golden eagles are extremely likely to be flying at extremely high heights, like the size of your thumbnail if you're looking up at the sky. So just keep that in mind. Bald eagles are much more likely to fly lower, but again, golden eagles will come down as well. Just as if you see a bird way up in the air, a massive bird, and it's an eagle, it's most likely a golden eagle. Again, these things are helpful for ID, but you should combine them with the other stuff and the physical traits that we talked about earlier. Especially if they're in flight, combine the flat wing flight of the bald eagle to the dihedral of the golden eagle. You now have the baseline knowledge to be able to identify these two iconic eagle species. Let me know in the comments below, what tips do you use to distinguish the two? Remember that over on Bright-Eyed Birding, I take you with me to go on birding adventures once per week. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you all next time on Bright-Eyed Birding Learn.